best efforts at survival. The humans of Sierra continued to march blindly to their imminent doom, unaware that their misguided attempts at retaliation were only leading them ever closer to extinction.
Gears of War 2 on the surface just looks like Gears of War. And it should do, but it's only until you start playing it and you look back at Gears of War 1 that you realise how much Epic has actually squeezed into just a short space of 2 years that they've had to develop this game. Gears of War 2's main selling focus this time around is probably its single player, and Epic have gone all out to make it an epic, emotional single player, and they've done this in multiple ways. You'll play through the campaign as Marcus, but they've done this side kind of story of Dom trying to get to his wife and find her, which adds a little emotional string to it. The campaign just feels a whole lot better because it'll take you through multiple environments, through snowy mountains, vast forests, locust caverns, above ground obviously, and it just feels so much more polished than the last Gears of War, and this time around it actually does have a story.
Phoenix. Are you Sergeant Phoenix? Delta Squad? I'm your new trainee.
And green as grass by the looks of it.
The gameplay for Gears 2 hasn't really changed that much. I mean, it's the same as Gears 1, but they've tweaked it obviously, so when you're doing a roadie run you won't stick to cover as often. But then on the weapon side of things, they haven't changed much either, except for maybe the sound. They've had a couple new weapons like the Scorcher, the Mulcher, the Mortar for good measure, but overall the game hasn't really added too much, but it didn't need to, because everything that was there in the original is back again, and it just fits together so much better this time around. Now, one of the massive things about Gears of War 1 was its multiplayer, and Gears of War 2 builds upon that so well. It's made it far more balanced, like the shotgun is considerably less powerful, but it gives this nice balance to the game, which Gears of War lacked. They've taken out a couple things, like where you can run straight up to an enemy and just pop the head off with the shotgun, and all the stuff from the single player, like if you're shooting at someone when they're roadie running, that'll slow down. Everything from the single player has transferred over into the multiplayer. Now, there are a couple things which I'm not liking, like being able to stick grenades to the walls to make mines basically, might seem a bit unfair, and it can get a little bit frustrating, but all in all, Gears 2 has added so much to its multiplayer, in the form of game modes as well. It's got several new game modes like Submission, it's got Wingman, it's got Guardian, but it's also kept like the classic ones that you'd come to expect from Gears of War, like Warzone, Execution, Annex, and all the weapons are there as well, so there's a hell of a lot that the multiplayer has to offer. Now, one thing which everyone complained about was, the online co-op is only 2 people, but they've kind of made up for that with this new Horde mode. Now, Horde is where you and 4 of your friends can go in and basically take on 50 waves of increasingly strong Locust, and basically it's just a survival game. Kind of like a zombie game, but it isn't a zombie game because you're facing Locust. And basically you just have to hold a point and work as a team to defend through these 50 waves. Now, if you do it on normal, it might seem a bit easy. Do it on hardcore, around wave 40 you'll start just getting ridiculously overwhelmed, and I personally haven't even tried Insane because I'm too scared to. Horde is a fantastic addition to Gears of War. It just gives it one of those little co-op things that everyone has to experience, and it kind of does actually make up for not having a 4-player co-op campaign. And even though that would have been cool, to be honest, I couldn't imagine having 4 people running around with me in the campaign. It just wouldn't work as well. Gears of War is all about close quarter action, and they nailed it to a T in this one.
Lock and load!
Now if you thought Gears of War was gory, then Gears of War 2 is something else. The sheer amount of executions that you can do, from taking a sniper rifle and clubbing a guy's head off, to getting a torque bow and ripping a guy's head off, it's just ridiculous. One of the coolest features though is getting these chainsaw duels. Now this happens when two people have the chainsaws revved, they clash at each other, and in Gears 1 it was just kind of like a random outcome of who would win. But in Gears 2, they'll go into this kind of mini-game where you have to hammer B, and whoever presses B the most in this 2 or 3 seconds will win, and you get the glory of chainsawing them in 2. Now, all these features just add up, and it always, especially when you're in multiplayer, will keep you thinking, like going, should I be picking this guy up as a meat shield? Should I be clubbing his head off? Should I be chainsawing him? Should I be curb stomping him? Should I be torching him? Anything that you can think of to just humiliate them is there.
Broom back!
Multiple broom up, south side of Blendown. We're not out of the woods yet.
Now one of the biggest complaints about when Gears of War 2 was announced was it just looks exactly the same as Gears of War 1. But it's only until you go back and compare the two, it's just stunning. Gears of War 2 is just one of the most breathtaking games on the 360 to date. When you go down into the caverns and you just have a look at the sheer volume of space you've got around you, from going up into the surface and just seeing these huge forests, seeing these snowy mountains, these massive battles, Gears of War 2's graphics are stunning. And to accompany that is the sound. The music is just far better. The voice acting flows. It's not like Gears of War 1 maybe, where you can just get this little bit of voice acting and it kinda seems a little bit out of place. Gears of War 2 just fits together so well. And any problems that Gears of War had, it's fixed in this one.
An icy lake, Marcus. We got no choice, Dom.
All in all, Gears of War 2 is stunning. How they have fitted so much in the short 2 years that they've had to develop this game is mind-blowing. From the huge battles that you have, from the huge environments that you fight in, to the multiplayer modes, to the great epic single player with a brilliant story, to just a whole better flushed out world. It is just amazing what they've done here. Gears of War 2 is just something that every 360 owner has to have, and thanks to a couple features like where you can take out the blood and take out the swearing, most people can actually start to have it now. And it's just one of those games which Epic have looked at every aspect of it and just thought, we can do this. My only complaint with it is how they're going to top it with Gears of War 3, if there is one, which there probably is. And it just doesn't seem possible. They have fixed so much, they have added so much, and they have just made a brilliant single player.
Can you hear me?
Carmine, what's your position?
Not really sure, sir. I think my lift went off course.
Is Ty with you?
No, he jumped out before launch. But I see another lift up ahead.
Oh, hell yeah! Alright, head that way and we'll catch up. Don't engage the enemy. Just defend your position.
Will do, sir. Wish me luck.
Hang in there, Rook. We'll be there soon. Let's go find Carmine.